Is Bank of Canada going to increase interest rates on January 29th? Are we looking at a rate hike, Canada? We just got inflation back to near 2%, and somehow everything feels expensive. Headline inflation in Canada ticked up to 2.4% in December, slightly higher than November's 2.2%, which sounds like bad news until you look under the hood. In this video, we're going to break down the latest inflation numbers, predict what Big Daddy Tiff is going to do on January 29th, and what that means for your payments/buying power this year. So stick around because the interest rate decision is actually the boring part. I have some tea for you at the end. Hey YouTube, it's Zach, real estate agent, part-time self-proclaimed economist, and full-time victim of Bank of Canada. Let's dive in. What the inflation numbers really say. The CPI is up to 2.4% in December, but the Bank of Canada's favorite core measure, CPI trim and CPI medium, actually cooled, dropping to 2.7% and 2.5%. Their lowest levels since late 2024. The noisy stuff like certain taxes and volatile categories made the headline number look a bit worse, like it's trending in the wrong direction all of a sudden. While the underlying trend the bank cares about is moving in the right direction. Analysts looking at these core numbers are now saying this gives Bank of Canada even more reason to not hike again and stay patient. Before we look at shelter costs, real estate in the CPI, give me a thumbs up. Click the like button, basically. It just makes me happy. Mortgage interest rates costs are still higher than a year ago, up around 1.7% year over year in December. But that's actually the slowest pace in over 2 years because of the earlier rate cuts, which have started to filter through the renewals. So yes, it hurts, but the bleeding is finally slowing down. Basically, whoever is renewing their mortgage obviously is getting a higher rate compared to when they got their amazing close to 0% mortgages during COVID. But with the lower interest rates now compared to a year ago, the overall impact on the CPI is gonna shrink down a little bit. When it comes to rent, well, you tenants, you guys have to move because rents are down now, but if you haven't moved and you didn't reach out to your landlord to negotiate the rent, you're probably paying more. So what do we think Bank of Canada is going to do? In December, Bank of Canada held its policy rate at 2.25% and basically told everyone this is probably about the right level unless the data goes crazy. So the big banks are now broadly aligned on this. CIBC and other banks are expecting that Bank of Canada is going to keep the overnight rate at 2.25% for an extended period of time. And Scotiabank expect a long pause in early 2026, so at least the early portion of it. Behind the scenes, core inflation on a 3-month annualized basis has fallen towards the mid 1 to 2% range, which actually puts downwards pressure on the inflation anxiety we're all feeling. So the mood has shifted from will they hike again to how long are they going to sit and stare at us? And my mood is going to be shifted when you subscribe to the channel because I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers, it will make my dreams come true. So if you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button. So what are my predictions for January 29th? What do we know so far? The headline inflation at about 2.4%, it's gone up. The core measures, CPI trim, CPI median, those are easing and they're trending down. There's slowing growth in the economy, even hints of a contraction at the end of last year. So the most logical, most likely outcome is that Bank of Canada is going to hold the overnight rate at 2.25% on January 29th. I do have some buyers and sellers clients that are waiting for that day, for that decision to take their next steps. However, the odds of a rate cut this meeting is pretty low. Bank of Canada basically told markets it thinks the policy is approximately appropriate at this point and wants more time to see if inflation continues gliding towards the 2%. A surprise rate hike would completely contradict the recent cooling in the core measures. So if they do end up doing that, everyone from bond desks to real estate agents will probably lose it. What this means for mortgages, buyers, sellers, and renters. The 2.25% policy rate staying like this for a while, especially in 2026. If you're renewing your mortgage this year, the big shock is behind you. The rate that you're going to get is obviously going to be higher than what you got 5 years ago, but you're still renewing at a steady, slightly higher rate, which is good. It's good. It's fine. If you're a buyer or a seller and you're waiting for that near zero interest rate where it's going to skyrocket the market and your home's going to sell for a higher price, or you're going to get more money for your mortgage, that's probably not going to happen. Instead, what we're going to start seeing is prices reacting to local supply, demand, immigration, type of property that you're buying, instead of headline interest rate. Oh, interest rates up, market's crazy, interest down, market's crazy the other way. So depending on what you're looking to buy or sell, the best thing you can do to figure out your home's price or get a strategy on what you should do next is to reach out to your local real estate agent. Now, if you're in the GTA, I'll leave my info in the description. But if you live somewhere like Montreal, Vancouver, you can reach out to me. I have some really good realtors I can refer you to. For landlords, if you have a good tenant, take really good care of them. If you're a tenant, you'll probably be doing yourself a favor if you look at what's going on in the market, because you can probably move one floor up or one floor down and you'll save yourself $200 to $300 probably. I have my info in the description, so you know what to do. You never know what 2026 has in store for you. If you enjoyed this video, I have a really good video breaking down variable rate mortgages versus fixed rate mortgages and how they were affected by the interest rate increases. I'll put it here for you to watch. I warn you, it's a bit old, but really good info. I had a bit more hair back then, I think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I just realized the lens cap's been here the whole time.